yeah. You're in the mix with DJ F7.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy DJ F7. I'm here with Zack Weiner, and honestly, the dude impressed me so much that I need to find out some more about his plans, because if you guys watch my normal candidate interview series, you're gonna see that I ask standard questions about the state of the city and for some of my political allies over here. But I want to find out more about some of the specific plans. They're quite innovative, and something I appreciate. A lot of the candidates, right, may have platitudes, but they don't have such. So let's talk about some of your ideas that specific plans for the city.
Thank you so much, and you impressed me a tremendous amount. I really enjoyed hanging out today on and off camera. It's so nice to meet people that are actively doing things in real life. We have 3 active programs that we have going, innovative. I do believe, some of them are not my ideas, and I believe they're very innovative, all of them. Startup Retail, Money Study, and MyThrive.NYC. So I'll run through them, and please interrupt me if anything's confusing or you have follow-ups. MyThrive.NYC is a transparency website designed to hold Thrive NYC accountable. So Thrive NYC is an under-observed program in the city. It's had over $1 billion in funding in the last 5 years, and its design was to confront severe, mental illness and drug addiction.
Okay.
The budget, if you look at the budget, there's $850 million that are not accounted for. They're not really accounted for.
That's a lot of money.
It's a tremendous amount of money. It's mammoth. And, you can go on our website, we have all the details, but the way they haven't accounted for it is you'll see that they budget $13 million, for example, for mental illness prevention. Now, that looks like, okay, $13 million for mental illness prevention. That's not science. You talk to advocates, you talk to psychiatrists, they say, I have no clue where that would go.
Yeah.
And simultaneously, the thing in tandem with that is the infrastructure designed to help the severely mentally ill, who by definition need the help the most, has been routinely underfunded, weakened, and just ripped apart. The most glaring, urgent example is judges in hospitals, and they have diversion centers as well, where basically someone who's arrested who seems to be, let's say you think you're Jesus, right? And you punch someone on the street. And the cop says, okay, this guy thinks he's Jesus, I don't think he needs to go to Rikers. They used to be able to take them to the hospital, and at the hospital there were judges, and the judges would rule them criminally insane, and they would be compelled to go under treatment for 72 hours under Kendra's law. Now, for various reasons, some ideological, Thrive NYC has taken that funding for judges down to $1.2 million a year, while they're spending $30 million a year on PR campaigns. So those PR campaigns, and we're live, Daniel. Those PR campaigns, what they do is nothing compared to what those judges do, because what has happened now is Rikers is the largest mental institution in New York City, primarily using solitary confinement. Now, these are people where, say what you want about the freedom to be psychotic, they at least deserve a fair hearing to see if they're criminally insane, and this is just the most glaring example. There's so many on the website. So anyway, that's MyThrive.NYC. That's the most I've been able to do so far in direct action on that issue, which is tremendously important. The second is...
okay, let's...
Yeah, sorry, you let me go. I go and go.
I get that.
Please help me, I need it.
No, so you're doing great, man. I actually love it, and actually I wish more candidates was just filled with this. And the reason why is because actually when I've spent time off camera, as he said earlier, I found that his ideas go a little bit deeper than just the surface, and ideally that's what you want, someone who has nuance and attention to detail. So the Thrive NYC thing is something we didn't talk about as much, but I'm sure there's other layers of depth to that. So
yeah, that could be a whole.
But really, one thing that really struck me more than anything else was your commitment towards direct action.
Yes.
And the thing is that I really love that. So if there's other people who have issues that they want to bring to the forefront, now how did this issue come to your attention? The mental health issue.
MyThrive.NYC. So we had, as many of you know, on the Upper West Side, a major controversy around the Lucerne Hotel when they moved about 300 homeless individuals into the hotel out of congregate shelters due to COVID. Now, the average rate of death due to COVID in the congregate shelters they weren't able to evacuate is 1 person. Tragic. But when you compare it to 4 people, that's what we know, because it's been very opaque. 4 men died in Lucerne. You don't hear that in the conversation. I heard it because I speak to men inside the Lucerne. I have their numbers, we talk on the phone on a regular basis, and they tell me about the conditions, that they're horrendous. They say to me, every single homeless person that I've ever spoken to And they say the same thing. They've never encountered Thrive NYC in their lives, in their entire time going through homelessness. And homelessness has many layers, but at each segment of the population, people for various reasons all would use the support, need the support. Where is it? Where is it going? And that got me thinking. We have a program that seems like it's so well funded. It's something where, forget taxes, this is not a funding issue. For once, thank God, we have an incredibly well-funded, robust program that's disappeared, that's not available. And I'll tell you where it is going. It's not the money that we can account for, at least. People that are depressed, people that are anxious, people that have OCD, people that have postpartum depression. Now, not to say these are not important issues, but what's the priority? Is it that segment of the population that are mentally ill, or is it the people that are severely mentally ill that cannot work and cannot live often, will literally die because of their illness?
And are a threat to themselves and others.
And most of all, exactly. And you have a large percentage, if not the majority, of wrongful deaths and major scandals in terms of the police and horrible incidents happen with emotionally disturbed individuals.
Now, I actually interview every single candidate running for office, or attempting to. I've interviewed a bunch of people, and there's only 10 weekends left, but this guy, with his depth of, his plans and, his attention to details, I will guarantee at least, and I think there's about like hundreds of candidates running, I will guarantee one of these weekends for Zack exclusively, because of, there's some candidates out there that mean well, but they just don't have the stuff to get it done.
I appreciate that so much.
I'm sorry to say that. And there's something to having the right. They say the path to hell is paved with good intentions. You have good intentions, but just not enough. You need to have the ability to get it done. So
totally.
And I love the direct action as an activist. By fighting alongside the ground with other activists like myself,
mm-hmm.
and running into those issues like that you talk about in this specific case. That's really heartening for me. So let me hear about one of the other.
I love to hear that, because
you
have, and I've been very inspired and encouraged, and I feel like I'm being educated during these interviews, because I'm a year in on this stuff, and I don't know enough. The second thing we're doing is Money Study, and Money Study is bringing financial education in a competitive, fun way directly to the students that need it the most. And essentially the way it works is we have a mutual fund. There's $8,000 in the mutual fund. And we have a virtual investment game called Investopedia, which is a virtual stock market where you can make bets in real time, and it's simulating the actual stock market. And your money grows, your money shrinks virtually. The way the game is designed is so that our particular game, Money Study, is that the top performer gets to cash out $3,000 of the $8,000, and everyone else who participates get to hold on to their share of the mutual fund for the next round, the following term. We think this is something that really ideally would be all over, because ultimately so much of education is disconnected from money and making money and the promises of you go to college and you get a job, and even get a high school degree and get a job, and what does it really add up to? So here we think this is a great way to learn, and I think in addition we have a person, David Curdell, who's managing the program. He was a hedge fund partner at Brahman Capital, a major hedge fund. And he is retired, and he is really enthusiastic about doing this, but we've yet to been able to get really enough traction in the community. So far we have one student, and we have a person who's helping us garner students, but we're encountering, funnily enough, is just people don't believe us. They hear this, they hear $8,000, it doesn't add up. And on two fronts, I get it, but on two fronts it does, because number one, this is part of our direct action. This is part of us trying to enact the stuff we believe in right now. And number two, the beauty and the greatness of the free market and the capitalist system is that you can grow that 8,000, so that if people are doing really well during this game, and David Curdell is helping us out managing it, who knows, the 8,000 we put in might even be bigger than 8,000 by the end of the semester, even with the 3 taken out. So,
and also the thing is that, look, the thing is, I really think this idea is just so relevant. Particularly Elon Musk, and he said one of the great failings of our education system is it's not relevant. And we take a look at the way that we fund our money into the educational system, and I'm not mad at basketball, right? But we spend so much money into putting kids into Division I schools. They're not getting, the schools taking money from them, robbing the crap out of them, giving them a little scholarship. How many people are even going to get that scholarship, right? Versus this program right here, which is giving, right, anybody could could play the market, and our financial system is IRAs, our retirement funds are built to go into this system. So how are we going into If I played basketball against I don't play basketball regularly. If I play against a high school athlete, I'm going to get wasted and look stupid. And what happens if I try to play the markets against someone who, who's been playing the markets, right? I'm just a high school level education. They're gonna play me, and I'm gonna look stupid. And all the people out there, right, who are just working regular jobs, right? Maybe you're even a professional. Maybe you're a executive at a company, but you've never really had time to learn the markets.
Right.
And you're gonna get beat up by high school by one of the kids coming out of the program. What do you expect? You know what I mean? So that's so relevant. And I came out of arts backgrounds. They teach you to draw the line. They never teach you to sell the line. But that's really why you went to school in the first place.
It's key.
So
even in the arts,
it's things like that made me out of all the people that are running. Look, we're not going to see everything the same, right? I'm not crazy about that you're a Democrat, but Democrats are running super corrupt. But you are an independent Democrat, and you're saying the right things that really make me, that give me confidence. So
I love to hear it.
While we won't see together everything, the key things, the important things are there. Yeah. And I can get behind that. Thank you so much.
Oh, fantastic. I'm so glad, and it's fantastic. It's going to be great to learn from you, and I look forward to hearing from your audience base. I know I respect and know many of them, and I hope that you will bring ideas to our organization. We're ready. We're able every day. We want to take direct action, and we're just waiting for people to team up with. So, yeah, please let us know.
The political game, honestly, is not really that different from the game you've been running. Yeah. As a film producer, as a goddamn successful film producer.
That's
you know what I mean?
I've done okay, but thank you very much.
Yeah.
I mean, it is very similar. I think it's very, very similar in many ways, and there's a lot of politics involved.
There really is, yeah. And I really appreciate, as much as I might be have experience in the game, your fresh take, honestly, is necessary too, because the game has changed. A lot of these consultants run around the game, running stuff from the 70s, trickle down economics with their old ideas and their old technologies. We're in the internet era. Mm-hmm. Things have changed, and it's time for for us to really meld it together. So cats that are maybe with the experience of mine who are cutting you out, they need to get smacked right in the face.
We need some action. I agree, and I love the radicalism. I love the energy, and we're gonna we are already that we're seeing progress, and we're gonna make more. And I think this could be, and I believe will be, a decade that's booming and growth and a change in our city and a lot of burgeoning new ideas. But most of all, at least I want to have the feeling at the end of this race that I made my stand and made an effort, and I know that you have that feeling.
This financial. I was talking with this campaign manager, and his this financial program that you have, Investopedia, is already built out.
We have it already.
You could be from anywhere in the country and be a part of this program, right? Yeah, not just New York City, although we're focusing on New York City. Anybody, I know I've audience from all over the world actually, and we're gonna put this out. Anybody can get this Investopedia. Start to invest your money, and it's not real; it's virtual money.
Well, here in this case, we Investopedia, the software is available for everyone, but the connection to an actual money—that's something we're pioneering. That part.
Yeah, but they can
play the software
game
and try it out, and I recommend that because I myself learned a lot. I'm not pretending to be any sort of finance whiz. This is complicated stuff, and you pick up a lot with this game, and it's a great way to pick it up. Investopedia is a great innovation that I wish everyone did in every school.
Yeah, we're gonna hook up a Slack and a Discord for this guy. You know what I mean? We're gonna make that all happen, and you guys can get on there get chatted up, and also you guys can link over to the Wall Street Bets Discord. We'll put the link in your channel, and we're gonna do this, man. It's either way we're changing the future. Yeah. Doesn't matter either way. You can't stop this. Yeah.
That's exactly right. There's no gates to guard anymore. It's all open for us, and we're agents of history in whatever small way. As long as we're
loving it. Hell yeah. What's that website again?
ZackWeiner.com.
God damn it, that's right. Okay. So what's the you say threefold plan, right? What's the third one right here?
So we have startup retails, our third plan where we.
Oh god damn! Now hold up. Now New York City's trying to reopen, right? The retail market's gonna get destroyed over here. What's the plan? Go.
This is the one where we made the most traction, and the one I think that has the potential to jump off the fastest. It's essentially an arrangement where you have a revenue sharing agreement. If you want to open a store, you can go to the landlords that we're getting signed on to at startupretail.us. If you go to the website and contact us there, we're building a list of landlords where you contact us. You can open a store, $0 rent. You don't have to pay $1 in rent. You cover utilities, and you pay a share of what you make. That's it. Now, it sounds too good to be true. It sounds impossible. It's very real. It's very necessary, and landlords love it. They need it because there's so much empty real estate for them, and due to market imbalances and issues with the bank that the government, frankly, cannot even handle yet, and it doesn't have a method for dealing with, it's a necessity for them, and they're unable to fill the stores. So this is something. We have 66 empty storefronts on Broadway, and it's definitely an opportunity to despair. You could definitely look at that and say, I have so many people who say to me, there'll never be a store. Stores are dead. Amazon's killed it, and I think it's the most preposterous thing I've ever heard, because that's so much opportunity. I see that and I'm like, those are 66 stores. That's 66 dreams that can come true, and who knows, maybe 1, maybe 3, maybe 10 are the next franchises. Who knows, someone could even invent a new kind of store and a new kind of place that makes money in a whole new way, because I know fundamentally we're social creatures. This is the most famous street in the world, and we're going to want to use these spaces in a productive way. So the guardrails are down. Again, there are no gates to guard. You got to contact my website, because ideally this is going to open up, but right now it's startupretail.us. We have partners, we have landlords, we have software that can help facilitate and make it easier and deal with a lot of the cashiers and things like that to make that less daunting as well. Again, this is just a question of coming and joining, bringing your idea and making it happen here in the busiest, best commercial district in the world, and it's going to happen. I just want you to help make it happen faster.
Okay. So sometimes you might have heard about like other programs that might exist. I know you said this is the first one of its kind, but there may be similar programs such as it sounds like what you're talking about is similar to incubators.
Very much so, and also landlords are doing this piecemeal. Landlords will go to people they trust, different tenants. You know, when I speak to landlords, they say we go to tenants and we offer this, because it's just something though that no landlord wants to come out publicly in front of and announce by themselves and be the first ones, because that'll hurt their market evaluation. That makes the entire building seem less valuable if they're offering a store for free. But that's the encouraging thing. This is happening a lot. I just don't think anyone from a government end, at least that I've dealt with in the city, has approached it this way. You know, I have some people that say it's impossible, and I have other people say that it's communism. And when I say it's a name for a phenomenon that's already going on, and a rallying point where we can move the ball together on it. It's incubator is a great word for it. Incubator is an excellent word. Pop-up is an old word for it. Look at the pop-up market. It hasn't changed a bit. As Amazon dawned, as stores have declined the old mode of stores, and so many vacancies opened up. You go to the pop-up market, and it costs $100 to $1,000 to open a store for one single day. It's absurd. It's frankly a bubble of gigantic proportions, and I think it's a shame for the whatever pop-up websites, because they're going to evaporate as soon as the startup retail really catches on, because this essentially, I think startup retail is the new pop-up.
Okay, so I want to ask a little bit about some of these specifics here. So some people say that the real estate market in New City is overvalued, and it really should come down. So are we paying, is that true or not true? And if it is true, then are we paying artificially inflated, isn't the taxpayer paying artificially inflated rent costs?
Are you saying the commercial market, or the?
Yeah, I know you answered this specifically before but I'm re-asking again because I think that some people might also have the same misunderstanding.
Totally. I mean, this is something I came in with that impression, is that the rents are very high for a lot of these stores because the landlords are unable to lower them despite their desperate wish to do so. I mean, no landlord wants a vacant blight on their building. The issue is that if you lower your rent as a landlord, you almost always have a deal with a bank, where you've taken on a mortgage, you've taken on a loan, and part of that mortgage, what's baked in is a certain level of rent, where you told the bank, I'm borrowing at this level because I'm going to rent the store out for, let's say, $5,000 a month. Now you go ahead, you lower it to $3,000 a month. That really is a marginal change in your revenue as a landlord, but to the bank, it's an opportunity for the bank to say, hey, you just violated the deal. You just lowered our valuation. We can snap back. We can foreclose on our loan. We can raise our interest. So
property values drop and stuff. Yeah,
exactly. It's this market gully. It's this unfortunate catch-22 that landlords are stuck in. And I have landlords tell me, I'm desperate, they say to me, and I'm getting nothing from the people running for public office and the people in office, nothing but anger. And I think that, and they say it seems to be a market misunderstanding, and this was something that took a long time for me to come to understand. But it's important. It's important, and you can see that. And this is a way that we can facilitate a deal really fast. I mean, in terms of what, as city council person, I would like to pass if I was in office right now, is some help in terms of insurance for stores, in terms of some tax abatements for doing this. There's certain things the government can do, but mainly this is a workaround and a way to circumvent this market imbalance. And that's what's keeping the rents high by and large, not landlords. Because another thing is they're making most of their money by selling the apartments.
Okay, let's also understand what the difference between this is and a traditional business improvement district, right? So the thing is that one thing that was interesting was that I think that you said one of the reasons why it doesn't become a tax burden is because there's this idea of revenue sharing. So that was pretty interesting. Maybe you can make that a little bit more clear to me?
So yes, absolutely. So when this hypothetical first, and hopefully it will happen soon, and when it does happen, startup retail shop, it shares revenue with the landlord, and therefore it doesn't count for the bank as lowering rent because they're not paying any. And so for all of these different hoops that are keeping new entrepreneurs and landlords from changing the arrangement, this goes around all of that. And a pop-up does something very similar, but with a pop-up, the market isn't so inflated. It's like $1,000 a day. I might have lost the question. Is that answering the question? Or?
Well, actually, what I was thinking about was, I don't want to sound like too much of a fanboy, right? Yeah, but the thing is that I liked about this guy earlier is because I've also run like a lot of successful programs. And one thing that he said earlier was about like, when we talk about sharing, revenue sharing, and I think it's about like also sharing costs and bringing in more people into the game. There's ways that you can maximize your money, double it, quadruple it, maybe.
Yeah.
So let's suppose that like you're trying to pay this rent, right? Yeah. You could say you could offset it by saying maybe the person who's renting can pay for some of the costs, or you could have other investors come in, right? Yeah, and then invest in the city and see possibly they can also share in the returns. So there might be a new opportunity for a new class of investors to really make money on a new deal, because anytime, right? They in China, I'm not Chinese, but they basically say that the tragedy is also opportunity, right, or something like that.
Oh, I love that. I didn't know
so
that saying. That's great.
Yeah. So anytime that you have this flux, right? There's going to be money moving around. There's going to be a shift in the industry. There's a opportunity for new people to make money in this market, and
community investment. Thank you. Yeah, I lost that, and it's sort of something along the lines of community.
That's what got me excited, though. That's why I'm working with this guy. Otherwise, I wouldn't fuck with him.
I really appreciate. Yeah, I want partners, and I appreciate you keeping me on course with this, because this is so key. A class of investors that could get equity investment in some of these stores, where, I mean, one store idea that I liked was sort of a virtual currency exchange, and like kind of where you can sell World of Warcraft gold and stuff like that and have merchandise, things like that. Essentially, some startup where part of the deal you work out, in addition to revenue sharing with a landlord or someone in your neighborhood that can back you, is they give you X amount of money, and then you give them 10% of your new venture, much like an app. You know, everyone, you say I want to start an app, and no one bats an eye. They say that sounds very promising. You say you want to start a store, and everyone says you are crazy. But that is going to change, and I want to accelerate that change, because we are at the precipice of an amazing time to start a store, because it's not going to be, there's going to be no rent, number one, it's revenue sharing, but also everyone wants to go outside. Everyone wants to socialize. Everyone's going to be looking for new models to get people involved. And interior designers tell me that this is a gold rush for them and exciting. And for investors are coming around on this too and getting excited. Hey, you know, a store that opens up on Broadway that some person started, I can get 10% of that. And that could be the next franchise. That could be the next Shake Shack if it's some great food. Or that could be the next GameStop. That could be the next place to chill. That's a huge business opportunity for them. And it's a huge, easy way to get some funding and some resources for your startup. I mean, how many different communities have been unable for most of history to start stores in their own neighborhoods? I mean, how many different communities and how many different people have just, you know, there's this barrier to entry of rent, of startup costs, and that can all be eliminated by this new reality. I think as we take an attitude of optimism and we view the pie as something that we can grow, we're gonna have our pent up energy of our generation and just really everyone suddenly just gush forward and invent so much. I mean,
you know, and I could see actually one example of an actually existing New York City business that could actually have benefited from a program like this. You ever hear of something called Teespring?
No, what's that?
Okay, so a lot of YouTubers out there, you'll see that they have a merchandise store. I actually have a merchandise store. which actually they make like custom T-shirts and mugs and stuff like that. So the thing is that, right, a lot of these people like myself, we don't really have the time or energy to go and print up like 100 shirts, you know what I mean? And then like, so what they do is they make it to order, right? And they're already like very well known. They ship around the country. And I think you've seen The Rising with Crystal Ball and stuff like that, right? Crystal Ball, let's talk about, yeah, right. Anyways, so the thing is that a lot of like big time YouTubers already use this service, and they're from New York City. So one thing is you might say, oh well, who cares about New York City? You could have like, you know, you could make a mail order business like that anywhere in the nation. That's true, but one thing that New York City has, remember that you said, besides the locale, besides the you know, like you have like Italy making it special, like, you know, geographically controlled stuff, right? New York City, we have a specific geographic, like, you know, produced materials, but you also have the networking, right? Yeah, like this guy right here. That's one of the cool thing about living in New York City. We have so many different neighbors, so many walks of life. That population density is New York City the most population dense in the nation?
I think behind Tokyo or in the nation. I think I think we're probably right
there. We have particular strengths that we can take advantage of. We should be maximizing our returns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Precisely.
Yeah. Come on.
Precisely. I mean, I think startup retail, what I'm most juiced about it is you're right, that networking, and that's something I haven't put enough thought into. One customer that walks in, you know, the store might not last very long, but one customer that walks in that likes your T-shirt is an investor in clothing.
And that customer may have connections to someone in film, may have connections to someone in banking, may have connections to activism.
Yeah.
Right? Look at what happened right here. This is possible in New York City a lot easier than other places, which is one of the reasons why I specifically moved to New York City, particularly to get engaged specifically in political action. Otherwise, I'd still be up in Newburgh hanging out with my buddies. Much love to buy.
Same. I mean, that's a big part of why I love the city is you meet every kind of person. I mean, we're the most diverse city in all of human history. I think that there's a level of awe that is deserved by this city that is often forgotten. So many of the things you talk about at a national level that people are afraid of, we're already doing here, and it's already working great. You know, people say, what are the consequences for a democracy when it's a majority-minority city or nation? This is a minority-minority city. We get along great. I mean, I go on the subway, I love it. I look around, it's every kind of person. I think about, you know, when else in history could there be a tunnel packed with people and they're not at each other's throats? Rome didn't have that. I mean, they had to go into the Colosseum. It was pretty good, but the Colosseum, you know, it's pretty bad. Neither here nor there, the Colosseum. I don't recommend that. That's the beauty of the city, and I think also another thing is something that made a big impression on me as a psychological principle of locus of control, which is that if you believe you're the determinant factor in your life, you're the maker of your own destiny, versus you believe that the environment makes your destiny, it's a massive difference. You look at the job results when you ask people, and with the caveat, of course, that some people have environmental situations even where, you know, it's crippling, where you're literally disabled by your environment, and it's virtually impossible to make the argument that you're the master of your destiny. Nonetheless, how do you get out of bed if you think that you deciding to get out of bed isn't the important part of the morning? I know for me, in hard times in my life, when I thought someone else is determining something or my environment's decided my fate for that year, it's very hard for me to motivate myself. And I think no better, more direct example of that is startup retail, where you say, I am that empty store, that part of New York City, that's part of the landscape. I can get right in there. I can affect the retail market. That is not unattainable. That is not inaccessible. That is free. That's free.
No, I really fucking appreciate that, because there's way too many fucking candidates running in this race who say they can't do shit. I'm like, what the fuck are you running? Why the fuck are you running? You know? So honestly, I fucking love that take charge message.
Hell yeah.
Yo, this guy's really, I know like in this interview sometimes he said about his lack of experience, but honestly he's got experience where it counts and running businesses and stuff, that where it matters, and that's really what we need. We don't need another person who's trained to be ineffective, because that's so many of our leaders today. You see that they just don't know. They're good at not doing stuff, or they're good at just running campaign or making promises and not delivering.
Right.
The
learned helplessness. Yeah.
They're definitely fucking exciting, man. So
hell yeah.
You know,
and it's so great to meet. And he's over my house right now. We're having a ball. We're having a great time. I hope he hangs out more after. And it's I'm gonna learn a lot from him. And I think this community seems like a uniquely fantastic community for me to be talking to, because from my impression,
from my 20 years in the game, don't sell yourself short, bro. You're already like head and shoulders above a lot of other cats. Talking the talk, or they have a very limited scope of experience because of running your own business, right? They may have had one little scope of experience as like an executive director somewhere in one particular industry without that broad breadth. Right. Being a producer, being your own having your own business, right? You've owned your own businesses.
I own a production company.
That means you have to wear a lot of different hats.
Yes.
And you just want to give out props to some of the people that he has with them.
Please, there's a real key to all
jump
this.
on it, man. Yo, Dan, you still here?
Daniel,
jump on the camera, man.
Say
You know
hello,
what I mean?
please. Joe is my
Yeah.
campaign
I
manager.
don't know how I'm gonna get in.
Here we go.
Hey, what's up?
This is Joe. He actually got us all started on this, and here, come squeeze over a little, get him framed.
cheek.
That's another thing. Just coming from a political background, you want to look for people that have a team with them, or have other people that's more than just one, because that shows you that they can achieve more.
Mm-hmm.
One person can build a home, a team can build skyscrapers.
Totally. When I say I mean we, because it's everything I do is in tandem.
That's cool too.
He's a dope guy. He's pretty cool. He's all right. He's a great guy. He's a good old Irishman. He's a real good attitude, and I look forward to talking to more people. Win or lose, I'm in this, and this game I'm going to learn a lot from you, but I'm in it to make a difference, and I'm tired of hearing we need this, we need to do that from people in power. Just by virtue of having a campaign organization, we can get things done. And if you have a creative idea that you think can work in our neighborhood, let us know. We're that's our main endeavor here. So please, ZackWeiner.com, call us, email us. We're at this. We have 10 more weeks. We're looking for people to help, and just let us know what you'd like to do.
This is a great place to get started. This campaign right here. There's a lot of other campaigns going to take you for granted. Definitely not this one. They definitely humble. So I can tell. It's worth your time to get involved with these people. That's what I say. See you on the next one, all right?
Terrific. Thanks so much.
God bless.
Thank you.
All right.
It's a dark day in our nation when high-level authorities will seek to use every method to silence dissent. The truth must be told.
And if you want the truth, you need to check out independent media producers just like myself, DJ L7. You should subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications when I release a new video.
Truth of these
We are
words
on all
is
the major
beyond
platforms.
doubt.
That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Unfortunately, we have definitely seen that these mainstream outlets will cave to corporate interests, so we encourage you to join our independently moderated communities of Reddit and Discord. We also encourage you to subscribe to us on BitChute and Daily Motion so you can see the content that YouTube doesn't want us to let you see. Hey, now it's time for the most important part of the video. That's right. It's time for us to tell you about the Taking Action Group. Do you need an activist? Or maybe there's no activists around willing to help you with your cause and you need to learn to become an activist. That's exactly why we're here. Every week we get up with people from across the nation, in fact even sometimes internationally, and we develop strategies and a game plan to address the issues that are affecting all of us. Every week myself from New York City and of course my co-host Lisa from Los Angeles provide a coast-to-coast perspective on what's going on in the country. If you want to donate to help out with expenses, travel, equipment, stuff like that, then I definitely appreciate it, and you could hit us off at Venmo or PayPal. Thanks a lot. Hey, by the way, we also have a merch store, so check it out. Oh my goodness, it seems like you've reached the end of the video, so make sure you check out some of our other videos, make sure you subscribe. This is your last chance to do so thanks a lot, and looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment below if you have any questions or issues you'd like me to address. And if you're an activist, the time to make things happen is now.